Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a found footage horror film, End of Days. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins in the year 1979. The Pope reads a prophecy that a baby will be born to be the mother of Satan's child, who is deemed to bring the end of days during a new millennium. The Pope sends a priest to find and protect the baby. The cardinal insists on killing the baby to prevent the possible end of days, but the Pope replies that it is a sin to kill the baby, and the prophecy tells them to remain faithful. Hours later, the baby from the prophecy is born, and she is named Christine York. The Satanist nurses in the hospital bring the baby to the hospital basement. They secretly perform a ritual, which declares the baby to be the bearer of Satan's child. After that, they hand over the baby back to her mother. The scene then moves to the year 1999, days before a new millennium comes. Satan enters New York City, and he possesses a banker. After he possesses the banker, he exits the restaurant, and it instantly explodes. The next day, a former NYPD detective, Jericho, who is now working for a private security company, is tasked to protect the possessed banker with his partner, Bobby. Apparently, Jericho is an alcoholic who got depressed after his wife and daughter got killed in contract killings. The security company headquarters guides him and his partner toward the possessed banker's location. There, he searches for the shooter and finds it in a certain building. Before the shooter can assassinate the possessed banker, he manages to push the banker inside the car. He receives some shots, but fortunately, the bulletproof vest blocks it. He and Bobby jump to the helicopter as they chase down the shooter on the rooftop of a tall building. He attaches himself to a rope and grabs the shooter as it attempts to escape. The shooter gets a handgun, forcing Jericho to free him up. He runs to an underground railway where Jericho manages to corner him. He explains that he is only trying to prevent the end of days since 1,000 years have ended. It turns out the shooter is a priest named Thomas. He gets an address tag from the priest and surrenders the priest to the New York police station. Another detective, named Marge, explains that Thomas has no tongue. Jericho gets surprised since the priest talked to him earlier. Jericho and Bobby follow the lead from the address tag to investigate further about Thomas. They eventually find Thomas' apartment, where they find symbols on the walls written in blood. As they search further, Jericho finds Thomas' tongue stored in a jar. They then find a photo of Christine hidden in a jar. Marge and her fellow police officer arrive at the apartment. She reveals to them that the priest is trained by the Vatican. That night, Christine is riding the subway when she gains vision warning her that Satan is coming towards her. It turns out that she continuously gains the same vision, and she thinks that she is hallucinating. So she constantly consults her psychiatrist, who just prescribed her anti-anxiety pills. At his home, Jericho remembers the phrase from Thomas that 1,000 years have ended. To further investigate Thomas's intention behind the assassination attempt, he asks a priest who knows Thomas. The priest mentions a girl, but before explaining, the priest asks him about his faith. He reveals that he no longer believes in God after the death of his wife and his daughter. Now Satan is inside the body of the possessed banker and meets with a Satanist. The Satanist tells him that they are working to execute the plan. The next day, Satan visits Thomas in the prison hospital. There, he hypnotizes the prison guard so he can enter the gate. Satan then crucifies Thomas in the room ceiling, and he leaves the prison hospital to meet with the Satanists. Jericho and his fellow detectives visit Thomas in his hospital room. They find Thomas crucified in the ceiling using surgical tools. The doctors bring down his body, and they find words written there. It declares that after years have ended, Satan is loosened out of his prison. The doctor then reads the name Christ in New York. Thomas' body moves out of nowhere, prompting a police officer to shoot it instantly. To continue their investigation, Jericho and Bobby plan to search for the girl with the name written on Thomas' body. Jericho suggests that Christ in New York might stand for Christine York. They search for it on their computer, and Christine comes out as a result. They then go towards her address. Meanwhile, Christine finds a dead body in her bathtub, and she screams out of terror. The Vatican Knights chase her as they are planning to assassinate her. They then manage to get hold of her, and a knight declares a prayer before he executes her. Jericho and Bobby arrive at the scene. They hear Christine screaming for help, so they immediately enter her apartment. The Vatican Knights shoot at them in an attempt to stop them from entering the apartment. A knight tries to take hold of Jericho before he enters the room. As the knight is about to kill Christine, she instantly pushes the knight away. She then gets a metal pole and uses it to defend herself. Jericho pushes away the heavy knight to the stairs. The Vatican Knights jump out of the window and escape without any trace of their body smell. But Jericho finds a heart symbol left by the knights. Jericho finds a toy belonging to Christine, which is similar to his deceased daughter. The nurse, who is acting as Christine's guardian, arrives at the apartment later. That night, the Satanist doctor tells the nurse to bring Christine to Satan in the Satanic temple. But the nurse finds Jericho outside their apartment guarding Christine. The nurse then says that she cannot bring Christine to the Satanic temple, since Jericho will find their temple. Jericho discovers something that explains the heart symbol from the Vatican Night. He reads from the religious texts that the Vatican Knights are supposed to stop Satan's doom plan. As they are talking, Christine finds moving body figures in her apple. She screams in fear and in a chicken voice, thinking that she's hallucinating again. Jericho then says that he was able to see her visions too. He says to her that there must be an explanation for their vision. Outside, Satan pees, and his satanic pee flows toward Bobby, who is waiting inside the car. He throws fire to it, and it instantly blows up Bobby in the car. The explosion burns up a portion of the apartment. Jericho grabs Christine's sexy body away as he tries to put her to safety. The nurse stops them and uses her demonic strength to beat Jericho in a brutal fashion. In response, he throws her head to the table, which makes her pass out. Satan enters and calls Christine, but Jericho tells her to keep going. Satan approaches the nurse, and he instantly ends her nursing life. Christine and Jericho manage to get out of the apartment. Outside, they encounter Marge and another officer, who turn out to be Satanists. Marge tells Jericho to simply surrender Christine to them. As Marge instructs the officer to kill him, he immediately takes out his gun. He shoots back at them, which ends their shitty lives. Jericho and Christine leave the scene, but Satan revives Marge to hunt down the two. Jericho asks Christine why people are chasing after her and why she recognizes the face of the possessed banker. She says that she is clueless, but she reveals that the face of the possessed banker appears in her nightmares. As they cannot find any answers, Jericho brings Christine to the priest. There, the priest reveals a possessed woman who is making prophecies about the end of days. He explains that the end of days is man's destruction and the reign of the unholy on earth. The priest shows them a symbol for the return of Satan, and it matches the symbol in Christine's arm. He concludes that Christine is Satan's chosen one. The priest warns her that Satan will make love to her on New Year's Eve, so as to open up the gate of hell, which will bring the end of days. The priest adds that Satan needs a mortal body to make love with Christine. Jericho refuses to believe his smelly bullshit, and he tells Christine that they need to leave immediately, but she says that she believes the explanation of the priest. Because of this, Jericho has no other choice but to leave her in the protection of the priest. On the other hand, the Pope eventually receives the news that the priest had found Christine, so the Pope instructs the cardinal to protect her. Jericho goes back to his apartment where Satan awaits him. Satan shows him a vision of him together with his wife and his daughter. He feels happy as he sees a vision of his happy life with his family. Satan then tempts him to surrender Christine, and in exchange, he will have his family back. But he refuses to accept Satan's officer, prompting Satan to make him remember the death of his family. Satan keeps tempting him again, but he still refuses. Satan gets pissed off, and he throws Jericho out of the window of the tall building. Jericho manages to hold onto the window, preventing himself from falling. He then grabs Satan and throws Satan out of the window instead, making Satan fall to the ground. After that, Bobby, who is surprisingly alive, knocks at the door. Jericho says that he needs to get Christine away in order to keep her safe. They then plan to take her away later. Meanwhile, the Cardinal and the Vatican Knights enter the church. They plan to kill Christine to prevent the end of the day. The priest tells them that it is completely wrong, since they cannot prevent evil by doing another evil. As they are about to stab Christine with the dagger, Jericho arrives in time to shoot the dagger. He demands they let her go. He takes her away with him, and they run outside. Satan arrives in the church, and his arrival makes it shake. In a brutal fashion, Satan ends the lives of the Vatican Knights and the Cardinal. Outside, the Satanists stop Jericho and Christine from escaping. Bobby arrives with a car, and he tells them to ride in the car. Christine enters the car, and Bobby drives it away, leaving Jericho outside. The Satanists gang up on Jericho, and they beat him up without any satanic mercy. Satan arrives in the scene and ties Jericho to a crucifix position. Afterward, Bobby drives away with Satan and Christine in the car. The next day, New Year's Eve is about to come. The priest finds Jericho hanging, so he frees him up. Jericho eventually wakes up hours before New Year's Eve. He goes to the security company headquarters to get some weapons. He tracks the location of Bobby's car and drives toward it. He finds Marge entering the abandoned theater, and he secretly follows her until he reaches the ritual place of the Satanists. There, Satan is about to perform the love ritual with Christine, so as to mark the beginning of the end of days. As Marge finds Jericho sneaking inside, she tries to shoot him, but he manages to shoot her first. He then shoots the Satanist guards. Christine runs towards him. He threatens to kill Christine to prevent Satan from attacking him. Satan then calls Bobby and instructs Bobby to shoot Jericho. It turns out that Bobby has made a deal with Satan in exchange for his resurrection. But Bobby refuses to pull the trigger, prompting Satan to set him on fire. He then burns to death. Jericho launches a grenade that makes the Satanist temple explode. After that, he and Christine run away as the temple is swallowed by fire. They run to the rail track where they almost get hit by the passing train. The driver stops the train and lets them ride it. Satan continues to follow them on the train as he desperately wants to hunt Christine for a millennium mating. He grabs the driver's heart and throws the driver off the train. Jericho detaches the train wagon from one another, which separates them from Satan as a result. As Satan jumps into their train wagon, he launches another grenade, making Satan's possessed body explode into onion pieces. Satan leaves his possessed body as he continues to hunt them down. Jericho and Christine run towards the church, while Satanists are flocking to get them. They lock the gates of the church to prevent the Satanists from entering it. As they are cornered inside, Jericho is left to think about what he needs to do. At this moment, he realizes that the only thing he needs to do is to have faith in God. He then prays to ask for God's help with his strength. However, Satan arrives in the church and sets the church objects on fire while the church shakes around. Satan reveals its monstrous form to Jericho before possessing his muscular body. The Satan-possessed Jericho tries to forcibly perform the love ritual with Christine. During this moment, Christine tells him to resist the temptation. Jericho resists his hormone urge, and he jumps toward the sword to impale himself to death. Apparently, he chooses to sacrifice himself to death in order to prevent Satan's evil plan. As a result, Satan is cast out of Jericho's body and sent back to hell. In Jericho's dying moment, he is in a joyous state as he sees his family waiting for him in heaven. In the end, Christine holds Jericho as she expresses her gratitude for his sacrifice. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.